I know a lot of us dread the heat, but my job is to kind of put it into a framework and how to think about this heat that's upcoming for us for a couple of days, and then it gets hot again by this weekend. In terms of the active heat alerts, you can see no active ones here in Nebraska. There are some across the southwest, especially in some of those areas that we already saw get into the 100s yesterday. Phoenix topping out around 113. But yeah, here in Nebraska, you can see no active heat alerts. There's no heat advisory, no excessive heat warning. So that kind of puts it into perspective. You'll also start to see us kind of mention more about this heat risk. This is a new product in which the CDC and the National Weather Service collaborated to kind of take multiple things into consideration, including how unusual this heat is in terms of our location, the time of the year, whether it's early season heat in terms of it being earlier in the summer, especially like it is with this time around, or if it's midsummer or late season heat that maybe we're more used to and more tolerating, the duration of the unusual heat, and if the temperatures may pose an elevated risk for heat complications. So that's kind of some of the things that this map is taking into consideration. You'll see that there are 5 categories that this heat risk encompasses. You can see most of the state for today under a moderate risk until you get into portions of southwest Nebraska nearing McCook, and it's more of a major risk. So what do each of those categories mean? Well, it's more like when we get in the red and the purple that you'll want to take even more precautions. Even up to this orange risk, you'll see it's fairly common heat for us, especially here in Nebraska. Heat that's tolerated by many in terms of this really being a risk for the general population, those that are exposed in the sun for longer periods of time, especially if you work outside. When you get into the reds like we saw in southwest Nebraska, that's more uncommon. This can be dangerous to anyone that isn't drinking a lot of water, taking active precautionary measures like getting cooled down, because the humidity is also coming with this. This isn't a product that takes humidity into account, but with us and the heat that we can see here in Nebraska, humidity, it just allows for none of that sweat to really escape your skin because there's already so much water in the atmosphere. And then the purple is when it's rare and maybe you'd consider some cancellations to outdoor activities. But in terms of today, it's going to be hot. This is one of the hotter days we've seen so far this year. There's going to be plenty of sunshine. As you can see, pretty clear skies out there right now. Already starting fairly mild, upper 60s to around 70 degrees just past 5:15. And here's the forecast for today. Middle and upper 90s with the heat indices close to 100. Wouldn't be surprised if some of us did see lower 100s in terms of the heat indices. But yeah, going to be plenty of sunshine. We are going to be watching for some isolated thunderstorms throughout the day too. There's a couple popping in north central Nebraska. Those are going to be scooting on into Holt County here soon enough, and then really just staying in northeast Nebraska through much of the morning. Not expecting any severe weather out of this, but throughout the rest of this afternoon and evening, there's going to be enough ingredients that if these storms can manage to pop in northeast Nebraska, those would quickly turn severe after about 7, 8 o'clock. So we do have a marginal risk over portions of eastern Nebraska. Lincoln is included in this, but I think the better ingredients will be further north and east of our area. For the day today, there's another risk for some isolated storms on Thursday, mainly across southern Nebraska, but again, those will be kind of limited in what do form. Friday, Saturday look like the better chances to see thunderstorms at this point, and you can see it'll be a hot weekend ahead of us as well.
All right, drink lots of water out there, people. And coming up in trending, we're in the midst of